Oh, about a month.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been good as new.
Yeah, last time I
It was
saw
like
you.
all of a sudden it was fine.
That's good. Our camera systems are so weird. They're like, oh, you want to turn on? No. I'm like, press on, and it's like, oh no, you gotta turn on. Yeah, we'll see if we want to turn on today. Fine, thank you.
How are you today?
Hi, good, how are you? I'm Natalie.
Natalie, Bob Norris.
Nice to meet you.
My friend.
Hi, Shannon.
Shannon? How you doing, Shannon?
Has it been,
I knew you
has it
still
been
work there.
so long
I knew you
since
still
I've
work there.
seen you that you have time to roll the mustache?
I relaxed our facial hair policy.
Well, geez, new you.
Yes. You know what, if you can't beat it, right?
I think this is
Does anybody want to hang in mic or no?
because I would
Mine's
never
just set up.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not
mine's up
already?
there as
Okay.
well.
All right.
Wasn't that from the,
That's what I think.
How's things
because
down
he
the street?
had two.
I know.
Oh, you know, he
And
gave
then-
you one. I don't know if you're
Ready for
right,
November? You ready
No,
for
because
section
actually,
6?
so
No.
that's one thing, that's why I'm not.
but like Christmas, it's always coming.
Right. How are you today?
Good. James Hanlon, Police Spokesman Review.
James? Nice to meet you.
Just meet you.
Well, welcome to North Idaho. Hope everybody is going to do something fun or different, especially our neighbors. Hope you go get some lunch by the lake or something and enjoy your time here. How's everything over in Spokane? Good?
He's here.
Same.
Good, good, good.
Hot.
How's the voice coming out okay?
Yep.
All right, you tell me when you want to start and we'll get this started.
I'm already.
All right. Good morning. My name is Robert Norris, and I am the Sheriff of Kootenai County. Up here, I've got Lieutenant Justin Arts and Deputy Joling. And at the end of our press conference today, we'd like for you to take away a synopsis of a fatal drowning that we had over the weekend. I'd like to give you some arrest statistics over our July 4th weekend. And also, we would like your help in getting a public service announcement out there regarding safety on the water. So, on Saturday, we had a fatal drowning, and it was an event that, well, it was unfortunate. That was on the Spokane River near NIC. However, the heroic actions of one of our deputies, Deputy Joling, here, she did an outstanding job. she put her own safety and health in front of, compromised her own safety and health in an effort to rescue and revive this gentleman. And although it didn't have the outcome we wanted it, it doesn't take away from her dedication to this organization and this community. And Deputy Joling, kind of like to ask you a couple questions and maybe take you through this event, and if you could come on over here. So it was Saturday, July the 1st, and you were on routine boat patrol.
Yes, sir.
It was about 2 p.m. And can you tell us from that point what happened? What did you hear or see?
Yes, Sheriff. So I was on routine patrol. I was on the Spokane River. I just finished up a traffic stop. I turned and was heading up towards the mouth when I saw multiple people starting to flag me down at NIC Beach. I quickly went over there, found out that somebody had gone underneath the water and had not come back up. The delay time was about 2 minutes since they had been last seen. So I quickly jumped in an attempt to locate them. The wind was pushing the boat downriver, and so I had to get back on the boat, kind of regroup, at which we tied a rope around me so I could get further away from the boat, and my partners could kind of adjust without having to worry about the props and where I was. At that point in time when I was getting the rope adjusted, I heard a gentleman say that he was over here under the water, at which I jumped in, located him, and brought him to the surface, and then with the assistance from the other teams, we were able to get him onto the boat and to shore for life-saving measures.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. And because she's got to get back out there on the water, is there any questions that you may have that you'd like to ask of Deputy Joling, and then we'll release her and leave Lieutenant Arts here?
How long have you been on the Kootenai County force?
So I've been with the Sheriff's Office since 2017.
Have you ever experienced any other water rescues like this before?
Not where I went under the water. I was on the dive team where I was a tender, so I was above water for rescuing and doing the assistance from the boat, but I was not on the diving portion of it.
Is there any big takeaways? I know you said that this was executed pretty well in the situation. Is there any takeaways from the situation? Obviously, the man did not make it this weekend, unfortunately. Anything to share as far as that goes?
You know, I'll let Justin speak to that. Lieutenant Justin Arts is our lieutenant in charge of our Marine Division. And in my opinion, everything, the assessment, the evaluation, the immediate response from Deputy Joling was outstanding, and gave every effort to revive this individual. So that is a very, very preliminary observation, but I don't see that it could have been handled any better way. Happened to be right there, immediately assessed the situation, got down there, came back up, assessed the situation again, got some additional information, back down, tied a rope to her ankle, came back down, and then was able to recover him. So, Justin, do you have anything to add to that? I mean,
I do, yeah, if you'd like me to.
sure.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can speak to some of the significance of what she did, that she's humbly kind of glossing over, that I think a lot of people overlook in this type of incidents, just the kind of the gravity of the actions that are taking place. Because, like she mentioned, she's not the only one there. She has her partners on the boat. So it is a team effort. However, she's the one that put her life on the line in an attempt to rescue somebody else's life. You can recognize how dangerous it is just by the fact that she wanted to tie a rope to herself, because we know if you're going to go in the water and you're going to pull somebody out of the water, that's very difficult to do without any sort of dive gear, any other flotation gear, because now you're lifting a lifeless body but with just yourself. It's very difficult and it's very dangerous. So she needs people on the surface to help her. Also, her team made sure that their vessel, which has 2 spinning props, stays out of the way. We have other citizens possibly in the water. We now have a deputy in the water, and we have a victim in the water. And we do not want to make a secondary tragedy. So the people on the boat are doing just as important of a job as the people in the water. The male victim was in about 10 feet of water, which is substantial when you're doing this with no dive apparatus, and you have to bring them up under your own power. So she dives down to a depth that she is not ever required to do to rescue someone that, frankly, she doesn't have the training to do. She mentioned being on part of our dive team, which as a tender, she is our surface support. So when the divers need help, she is there to get us stuff. She stays on the surface. She doesn't have the diving experience. She doesn't have the diving training like our dive team members have. So to do this is nothing but heroism. It's not something that she's been trained to do. It's not something that she's been thinking about for a long time. It's just something that in the moment she saw the need, and so she filled that need. And that is why it is such a big deal.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, what else?
You know, while you're up here, could you give us the public service announcement? We'll kind of go out of order.
Yeah.
But can you deliver that message?
Unfortunately, this was a tragic incident, but we do like to remind people how we can try to avoid these types of incidents. With this incident on Saturday, it's still under investigation, so we don't have a lot of information that we can release, and we don't even know if certain things were a factor, such as alcohol, so we're not going to talk about Saturday. But historically, within Kootenai County, amongst the drownings that we have and the boating accidents that we have and other incidents around the water, alcohol is a huge factor. So we would like to remind you that if you're out on the water, if you are out enjoying what northern Idaho provides, do it safely, do it responsibly. If you're going to be swimming in the water and you're going to be consuming alcohol, wear a life jacket. If you're going to be on a boat and you're going to be consuming alcohol, make sure you have a sober driver, because a vast majority of our incidents that our dive team has to respond to and have to recover victims on are alcohol related.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Sure.
All right, you can stay.
All right.
Deputy Joling, I know you have work to do, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Like to talk about now some statistics. And over the holiday weekend, which we started from Friday until Wednesday, non-water related bookings over here at the Kootenai County Sheriff Jail, we had 97 people arrested. 65 came from the state of Idaho. 24 came from Washington. And then we also had Montana, Oregon, Arizona, California in there, but they had like one or two each. Water-related enforcement. So this is fairly significant. We had 34 arrests and/or citations. 50% of those cited or arrested were from Idaho, and 50% were from other states. Found that quite interesting. So 17 from Idaho, 11 from the state of Washington, and then Texas, Arizona, Florida, Montana had about 6, which encompassed about 22%. So that was a fairly consistent holiday weekend compared to the last couple of years. And with that, I'll take any questions that you might have for me. You have a packet, and everything that I have, you've been given. So if you have any questions on that, then I'm more than happy to answer them for you.
Could you maybe elaborate a little bit on the significance of the people coming in from out of states? I know you kind of emphasized the fact that that is a pretty big number, 50% of your citations. What does that mean for your patrols, or what is kind of the big takeaway from that?
Oh, it stresses our patrol force and our Marine force significantly. So we would like to have conversations with the governor of Idaho and the legislature of Idaho to consider local option taxing, because many of the users of law enforcement services, not only in this holiday weekend, but generally they are not the property tax owner. So we would like to have that conversation. because our resources are getting stretched really thin, and we'd like to be able to spread some of that revenue across the board.
Are these higher numbers than you've seen in the past as far as kind of out of state versus in here? Or
You know, these are actually a little bit lower. Yeah, these are a little bit lower. In 2021, there was 46% that came from the state of Washington, but this is actually, you know, at 25%, that's significantly lower.
Sheriff, at the beginning of the season, we heard from the Marine unit about staffing and how the Marine unit was at about half the optimal staffing for the summer season. Has that had an impact on enforcement, and especially with busy holiday weekend? Has that had an impact?
Sure has. It certainly has. Stretched them even thinner. As you know, last July 4th, it was 55 degrees and raining. So this particular summer season started pretty early, and we have a long way to go. So they are stretched pretty thin. They all work a degree of overtime, and we are confident that they'll be able to make our waterways as safe as possible. Kay, you always have a question.
Well, no, they're catching a lot of what was on my mind.
All right.
But, I guess I will ask, since we're talking about staffing, what are those numbers looking like? Especially for Marine Patrol, but for regular patrol as well. How are we looking?
We're recruiting. If there's any Spokane deputies or Spokane officers that would like to consider law enforcement for a career, we'd love to have you. Our legislature and our community supports law enforcement. The sheriff here supports law enforcement. So we very much would like to have them as laterals to come over here. But we've stabilized, okay? We've stabilized pretty good compared to last year. We were hemorrhaging, but we're stabilized and we're actively hiring. All right. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
Actually,
Oh,
one last question.
one more question.
Could you do us the favor of spelling out the names of the deputies who just left?
Yep,
First and last, please?
yep,
And you as well, sir.
yep.
Thank you.
So Deputy Jordan, Jordan, Joling, Joling, and Lieutenant Justin Arts, Justin, Justin, Arts.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Enjoy the water. Wear a life vest. That'd be nice.